Paddy signed a contract extension. First of all, how do you feel?
Absolutely delighted. As everybody knows, it's a club really close to my heart, and to extend my stay and continue the story is very, very pleasing. First one up, I think is actually, there we go, I think that's from the playoff final against Luton. I can see, there's the embroidery on the shirt and stuff there, so I mean, everybody knows all about 11-12 as a season. It was my first season in senior football. I was a 20-year-old coming out of reserve team football at Newcastle, and came to the club obviously eager to achieve some success, but I don't think even in my wildest dreams I could have envisaged that we'd go on and win the trophy and get promoted in the same season. And I think probably lulled me into a false sense of security in football, that it was going to be this easy and we're going to win things this easily, all the way through. Unbelievable season, unbelievable memories from that season, and I think York fans will never forget that year.
And to go to Wembley twice in the space of a week and win twice as well, that must be up there with one of your greatest moments in football. Yeah,
definitely. Playing at Wembley's something that only a select number of people are lucky to do. So to do it like twice in a week, and to win there twice. I went there with Grimsby and unfortunately lost out to Bristol Rovers in the playoff final. So I know what it's like to lose there as well. That feeling of winning, climbing up them stairs to get the trophy, it's hard to beat. This one, 12-13, first season back in the Football League. I think it was an up and down season, really. I think we had some really good spells, and I think around Christmas time we were sort of pushing towards getting in the playoffs. They had a bit of a bad run after Christmas and then found ourselves in a relegation battle, and obviously stayed up, I think mathematically on the last day of the season. Really good run in the end to stay up, but again, really enjoyable season. I think we had some really good games in amongst there. We played some really good football, and I suppose you probably don't realise it at the time, but it was a successful one because we stayed in the Football League. It would have been, I know the club ended up coming back down eventually, but we didn't want to go straight back down, having put all the hard work into getting up in the first place the year before. So successful season, stayed up, played in the Football League. Another sort of thing that can never be taken away from me, and not everybody is fortunate enough to do. 2012-13.
And that was last season of your first spell at the club?
It was, I was disappointed to leave at the end of that season, but everything happens for a reason, and I wouldn't change anything looking back over my career. I went on to other things, experienced other things, and was lucky enough to come back.
And you came back in 2018-19, I believe.
2018-19, yeah.
On loan from Hartlepool?
On loan from Hartlepool, yeah, in the January. I've got no idea who that game's against. But
I believe it is against Nuneaton Town. Against
Nuneaton Town, right. Yeah, I think I remember the game now that you mention it. It's definitely at Bootham Crescent.
Yeah.
Steve Watson had taken over as manager, and obviously I'd worked with Steve at Gateshead previously, and he knew that I was living just outside of York, and I think it was a match made in heaven that that I would come back around that time. I think, strangely enough, I think we were actually near the bottom of the National League North when I first came in. I can't remember exactly what position we were in the table, but we picked up a little bit of a run of form and sort of finished comfortably mid-table. And all the signs were that we'd sort of laid some foundations to go on and have a real good goal at getting out of that league the season after. It was a decent group of players as well. Some really good lads in that squad. Just hearing stories from Parky every day. Seeing Parky every day when he went into training, that was always a good laugh. And I really enjoyed that spell on loan, because I had a little bit of a difficult spell at Hartlepool. I'd found myself out of the team at the time when I'd came back to York. So I really enjoyed that loan spell.
And obviously you made it permanent. Yeah.
That'll be 1920.
1920 it is, yeah.
First game of the season there, away at Altrincham, which was a great win for us, I think.
Yeah, 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1, yeah. Remember the atmosphere that day being really, really good. Mm-hmm. Got us off to a flyer that season, and who knows what would have happened if there hadn't have been COVID. We'll never know the answer to that one, but we went on an unbelievable run at the start of that season. I don't think we lost a game until, was it November?
I think you were up there with potentially Liverpool as well in the top
Is that right?
5-6 leagues, yeah.
Right. Obviously we had a good result in the FA Cup as well, got through to the first round proper. I think Altrincham beat us actually.
I think you played them a few times that season.
Yeah, we did, yeah. That might have been the only time we beat them. But, yeah.
I think it might have been.
I think looking back, it'd be brilliant to find out what would have happened if we had been able to play those last eight or nine games. Everybody in our camp will probably say that we would have went on to win it. Everybody in the Kings Lynn camp will probably argue differently, but it wasn't to be. But we had a good go at it, and to finish the season top of the league and not go up, that hurt a lot. But I suppose you learn from these things, don't you? You come back. It was only another couple of years before we actually did get out of the division.
It must have been a really strange one though, like that at the end, and following on to the next one as well. It's been such a strange time with the COVID thing. There was no crowds in that season. Obviously it got stopped towards the end of it.
I honestly thought I think we were actually due to play Altrincham on the Saturday. The season got cancelled or that game got called off, whatever it was, can't remember. On the Friday, and then everybody thought 2 weeks, 3 weeks max, and we'll be back at it. And then it was just like, it just kept going and going and going. And in the end, I was surprised actually that we came back for the playoffs. I know everybody did such great work, hard work, getting those playoffs on. It was a shame that we couldn't put on a better performance in those playoffs, but as I say, it wasn't to be. It wasn't our year, but thankfully we got that a couple of years later, which we'll no doubt come on to in a minute. So that's, what would that mean, 2021?
2020-21.
Yeah. That's away at Southport, I think.
Yep. Do you remember the score?
2 each?
3-2, I believe.
3-2. Sean Newton.
That's
Two free kicks.
2 free kicks it was.
Two free kicks, yeah. Straight. This was a stranger season than the one before, because this one was just, it never got going, and it was like, you'd prepare for a game and then you get a phone call on the Saturday morning saying, the team you're playing against has COVID, or somebody's got COVID, and it was at the time where if one player had it, everyone had to isolate. And I suppose it was essential that you went through those procedures, but it just felt like the season never got going. It was strange playing in front of no fans. They almost felt like reserve games or behind closed doors. And it was probably tough that season to stay motivated, every day, because you didn't know what was happening on a day-to-day basis. And then obviously it all got cancelled in March, which is a bit of a shame. So I probably look back on that season as being a bit of a wasted season in my career as such. Did we only played less than 20 games, I'm sure.
I think it was.
yeah, that was definitely a strange one, and one that I hope we don't go back to anything similar to that anytime soon.
And while we're on that season, talk to me about the last ever game at Bootham Crescent. Do you think you were involved in that, were you?
Yeah.
Scarcely.
Yeah, that in itself, the fact that Bootham Crescent didn't get the send-off it deserved, with no fans. I think we won. I think
we had quite a small crowd. It was one of them games where there were.
Oh, was that right? Was there a few? Right, okay. I couldn't remember that, but yeah, I knew there wasn't a normal crowd at Bootham Crescent. I remember Josh King scored the only goal of the game, so he'll go down the history books as having scored the only one there. Yeah. But it would have been nice. Obviously, I think might have even been the one before, the 18-19 season, where we'd had the commemorative kit, and it was supposed to be the last game of the season.
It got delayed quite a while.
It got delayed, yeah. It just kept, and it would have been lovely if we had been able to do that with a full house and in the commemorative kit and whatever else. But it is what it is. Some things, just aren't meant to be. That'll bring us swiftly on to
New stadium. Wow.
Another piece of silverware. Yeah, that was. I'll say another brilliant season, but I mean the first half of it was fairly tough and fairly up and down. How many did we lose? 3 in a row at the start, or 4?
We did. I think it was the first 3.
First 3.
First 3 at least, yeah.
So we came under some real pressure.
A lot of injuries, though, wasn't there? I think
there was a lot of injuries, and then we sort of dug ourselves out of that bad run of form at the start of the season. Got on a decent run, and then dipped off. It seemed to be we couldn't really find any consistency, and then we hit that run around February time, and then there was no stopping us really from there. Yeah, it's a good one. I've got that picture up in my house actually, and I remember being asked a lot at the time about what's better, this promotion or the one in 2012, and I can't answer that, to be honest. Obviously the one in 2012 was from a higher league. It was going into the Football League, and it had the added thing of being at Wembley and all that sort of stuff. But I feel like this one, getting out of regional football, was massive for the club, and obviously the way the sort of stars aligned for us in terms of being at home in the final in the new stadium. Was it 7,500? I think the capacity was reduced, wasn't it? Unbelievable day. All my family were there, friends were there, both kids were there and whatnot. So unbelievable day that I'll remember for a long time.
And under John Askey as well. What was he like as a manager?
John was great. Yeah, John. He really sort of breathed new life into that team, I think, and give us something that we had been sort of up and down. We had been struggling for consistency, and he got us going, got us on a run, and put a lot of confidence into the lads, and thankfully we were able to get over the line, and it's a good one, isn't it?
Back in the National League.
Back in the National League. There we go. Chesterfield away, last Good Friday. Was it 3-1?
3-1 it was.
3-1, went 1-0 down. Obviously a massive game because we were scrapping down there, needed as many points as we could. We'd had a good result against Barnet, I think, just before it, and then when we went 1-0 down, I don't think anybody would have given us a prayer of coming back to win that game. And obviously to score as well was an added bonus. Probably scored the worst goal in that game. There was 4 absolute belters.
I think you had a good goal of the season competition in that game alone.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously Dyce's volley, Ducky's one from the halfway line, and Liam Mandeville's goal for them was half decent as well. So that was an unbelievable day. it was roasting hot, big crowd, and to get that win really sort of set us up, almost secured survival. I know we ended up needing a couple more points, but it really put us in a good position to go on and achieve survival.
To beat a team such as Chesterfield, I mean, you've done it this season as well, but Chesterfield, one of them teams that were up there competing, it must have been such a good feeling after the game.
Oh, absolutely. Hard to put into words really. But I remember, just being on cloud nine after that game, being absolutely buzzing. And I do remember thinking after that game that was probably us safe, and Torquay just kept winning it. So we had to do a little bit more. But that was a brilliant day.
So you stayed up in that season, and moving on to the latest season.
Current season, Halifax at home.
Yep. Last
minute equaliser.
It's got a few of them, haven't we, this season though?
Yeah, we did, yeah. Yeah, definitely a few saved some points. No idea why I was in the box at that time in the game. Playing left back or left wing back, but managed to find myself in there, and eyes lit up when I seen it drop to me. And then dodgy celebration. But I gave my family over for this game, so it's always nice when the family are over, everybody can see it. To get a goal, and again, I think I touched on it earlier. Like with everything that's been going on over the past couple of seasons, I think we have to say that to stay up has been a relative success, because I think it would have been a disaster for the club had we slipped back. It was so important to get out of National League North, it would have been a disaster to slip back in there. So I think everyone deserves credit that we're still there in the National League, and we can go into next season now with some optimism and hopefully use the good form in the last chunk of the season to really build on and push on next season.
Overall, tell me what York City means to you.
I think it's the biggest. It's the club I've played for the longest amount of time in my career. So I don't think I'll ever really get that connection with any other club. I say it's all I've ever known. It's not all I've ever known, but it feels like that. If I can be here for many years to come, I'll be very happy about that.
And is it a case of now you've obviously extended your contract, does it just feel right?
Yeah, I'm settled in the city. Family are settled. Kids have got their York City shirts. They absolutely love it. And I think, everybody loves the fact. Everybody in the family loves the fact that that I play for York, and I'm here in the city. And there's definitely worse clubs to play for. Everything's here. The stadium's unbelievable. The size of the club, the fan base, everything's there, and it's a pleasure to play for us.
I'm moving into next season under the guidance of Adam Hinshaw. How big can this club be? What height can this club go to now?
As I've said there, just touched on, everything's in place. The stadium's there, fan base is there. We've got good facilities. We've got, everything's in place for this club just to really kick on, and hopefully next season is the season that we can start making those strides forward.